Hello right bags, it's Jade Plays Games back with a mini access show. Today we are taking a look at Stranded Deep. Last week I gave you the heads up that Stranded Deep was coming to Xbox One and the PS4. Scheduled for launch on October the 9th, it blew up on my channel. It was easily the biggest viewed video on my channel that week out of all my new content I released. So if you've never heard of Stranded Deep, a quick rundown: it's a survival game where you are crash landed from a plane and you have to survive amongst a bunch of procedurally generated islands in the deep ocean. There's sharks to contest with, there's temperature, you've got to build shelters and do all the usual sort of survival stuff. The game's around 3 years old, it's been available for Steam that long. And it's still technically in early access on Steam, but it was going to be a completed product on Xbox One and the PS4. As I always champion the fact that we don't have enough of these type of games on consoles, I was super hyped for giving this one a go. And now Stranded Deep is unfortunately stranded, with a likely release on Xbox One and PS4 off the cards for now. The game was still available to buy on the Xbox One store, although it had been pulled from the PSN store. Now it's not even available to buy on Xbox. It's listed, but you can't purchase it where you could before. In a nutshell, the worst has probably happened. They're going to have to find another publisher to publish the game on Xbox One and the PS4, and that could take months. But is that such a bad thing? After reviewing and going through a lot of information about Stranded Deep and the way that Telltale handled 7 Days to Die, it could actually benefit the game massively if another publisher gets on board. The original makers of Stranded Deep are a two-man team from New Zealand. The port job was given to Fun Lab Games, an Albanian company I do believe. Now this is quite a big, unique company. They have done ports before and they have worked on other games in the past. But looks like they are directly employed contractually by Telltale Games, and it looks like Telltale Games haven't necessarily paid all the upfront fees. So now I'll give you that information. I'll of course follow it up with any more developments, and as soon as we get more of a concrete date or a brand new publisher is announced, I'll let you guys know. But from what I understand, the game is available and it's viable, but it's still going to need another publisher. They may not make it to another port team, it may not have to go through another development team, but instead it just needs someone to pick up the publishing rights and publish it on console. That could be done in a month, that might take 6 months. We're not fully aware just yet. But the chances of playing Stranded Deep before Christmas are going to be very slim indeed. So if any of this is brand new news to you, you should know that Telltale Games have pretty much gone out of business. They've got a skeleton crew working on a few things, but intents purposes they've let go of over 250 members of staff and they're cancelling lots of their content. They're actively looking for a studio or publisher to help them take on board the final season of The Walking Dead, but they won't be carrying on with the Wolf Among Us sequel, nor are they working on any other projects. Of course that information may change over the next few days, it depends what they're doing, but all intents purposes Telltale are pretty much dead. They published 7 Days to Die with very mixed results. It was the first time we had the game obviously come to console 2 years ago, but it launched in a very buggy and unfinished state. Not a problem if you're an early access game. We've come to expect that from early access games, and even on console with Xbox One being the major, outlet for game preview games, it's kind of expected. However, 7 Days to Die launched as a fully priced game. There was no early access tag, it wasn't cheaper, in fact it was much more expensive than it was available on Steam, where it's still in alpha right now with a release date of going gold at some time next year. And so this is why it may be a good thing. Telltale Games got Iron Galaxy to port the game over. They bought the rights from 7 Days to Die from the Fun Pimps and they got Iron Galaxy to make and recreate the game for consoles. They done as well a good job as they could, but there are some substantial problems, particularly a memory bug that caused lots of people's worlds to be wiped periodically. It affected Xbox quite a lot, and in fact it's still affecting Xbox players today. 2 years on, there is a major bug in a fully released game that is deleting worlds. In a survival and a creative game like 7 Days to Die, that is absolutely diabolical, and it's still happening now. Updates have been slow, but that's not necessarily down to Iron Galaxy and just Telltale, that will be down to the Fun Pimps as well, because they've been extremely slow in their own updates for PC. They've gone a year without any substantial update, and the content of Alpha 17 is about to launch right now. Brand new updated graphics, new AI pathing I do believe, and a bunch of other new features are all coming to the PC version of the game, while console are still scratching around looking for electricity, brand new mobs and new points of interest on the map. There's a circle of blame that has never really been cleared up by Fun Pimps, Telltale or Ryzen Galaxy, who is directly responsible. But from what I know and what I've talked to you guys about in my video I done a few days ago, Telltale really don't have much to do with the updates that hit the console version anymore. They've paid Ryzen Galaxy off, and Ryzen Galaxy have an obligation to get the updates done for console. So it'll be down to Fun Pimps to release the files, and then Ryzen Galaxy take them files and then they update the game. I'm not going to go into it too much here because I want this to be about Stranded Deep, not 7 Days to Die. But I really want to point out the fact that the last time Telltale Games published a game on console like this, it didn't do very well in terms of performance, nor was it actually critically revered. It's got a really bad score across the board, across most publishing gaming sites. Mainly down to the bugs, mainly down to looking just a little bit old. 7 Days to Die is a fantastic game and people love it, and I still enjoy it as well. But the lack of content and the lack of real, good updates for the game killed it on console and left many people angry and disappointed. Whoever's to blame, I think they all need to take some portion. Fun Pimps, Ryzen Galaxy and Telltale. So, moving on to Stranded Deep. It could be the best thing ever another publisher picks it up. If another publisher does decide to give it a once over with another production team that they know, another porting team, that could be the best thing ever. Because it might mean that Stranded Deep has a lot more content in it than it should, or the content that is in it is actually working to a good standard. I say this now because Stranded Deep is not in a very good state at the moment. There are numerous bugs and issues affecting the PC version. It is still in early access on PC with no real date in mind. It is still very much a two-man team that is creating the game, and they're in no rush to get it out as soon as possible. They haven't added co-op yet, which is one of the major things the community have been crying out for over 3 years, but that is what they're offering in future. That's what they've got a plan. There are a bunch of other features of course, but co-op seems to be the one that the community around Steam want the most, and we wouldn't be getting that on console. We would be getting a version of the game that wasn't complete, but was all intents and purposes being labelled as complete. And that presents itself a worry, because that's exactly what Telltale did with 7 Days to Die, and it turns out to be a bit of a mistake. So, we don't know for definite what's going to happen. If another publisher comes along, it might just be the case of publishing the game, taking the ownership of the game, and that's it, job done for console version. They'll keep Fun Labs as their porting team, employ them, give them some money to carry on updating the game, and as the game progresses on PC, we'll get updates just like 7 Days to Die. I'll bet we'd want them quicker, but we maybe would get the updates to go along with it. It's a really shady practice, and to be honest, I'm pretty glad Telltale are going out of business, because that's the way they treat their customers. Publishing games, saying they're completed, and then not fixing bugs that critically affect gameplay for over 2 years. That is no way to run a game or publish a game at all. Stranded Deep has overwhelmingly positive, or mostly positive I should say, review scores on Steam, and many people enjoyed it. It does however not have the biggest amount of content. There are still no enemy mobs other than the creatures and wildlife that you see. There are no tribesmen that are going to suddenly start attacking you, with no clever mechanics or even like horde mechanics like 7 Days to Die. Of course they are very different games, and Stranded Deep relies on your survival against the elements and the weather and the animals. You're going to be worrying more about your food and water intake than you will zombies, and that's okay. But nevertheless, I think it's important to give console users a heads up on what to expect when the game does come to Xbox One and PS4. It will not be in a completed state. It's going to have some of them bugs and issues, I'm sure, and unless they've done some fantastic job where they've added content, which would probably be the first I've ever seen a port team manage to really do, the likelihood is we're going to get a watered down version sold at double the price, and really it just isn't worth it. Telltale Games really going under may have saved us another 2 years of waiting for updates to fix a game and add content to something we really enjoy playing, but we just can't handle because of the issues and the problems with the game. So that's the situation, and that's where it lies right now. I did make quite a big long video really going into detail about the updates for Stranded Deep and talking about the gameplay in general. However, the latest news in terms of it coming off the Xbox store just prompted me not to bother. there's no point in me going over gameplay details with you guys until we get some more concrete information when it's come to console. So near the time, I'm going to do a review of Stranded Deep as it is on PC. I'll play it for a good chunk of hours and I'll give you an honest opinion whether or not you should buy it when it actually fully launches on Xbox One and the PS4. If anything changes, I will keep you guys up to date. If you disagree with me about anything, please leave it in the comment section down below. And if you've got any further information to add about 7 Days to Die or Stranded Deep, then again, pop it in the comment section. I'm Jade Plays Games. Thanks a lot for watching. Make sure you hit a like on the button, and for all gaming news, early access information on survival games mostly, then make sure you've got notifications turned on. So until then, laters.